Hello everyone, this is your English teacher Rubama Ali. In today's lesson, we're going to take a new rule in unit number 10. And I really would like you to open page number 88, page 88 in your language book. Because I want you to match what I'm talking about with that page, which is something we will talk about later. Now, if you are looking at page 88, now let's just go through the rule. Now, before we go through the rule and before I tell you the title of the rule, I really would like to revise something you have taken in the first semester. There is something called present perfect. Now, if you remember this is something we have taken the first semester. If you remember this, the present perfect is formed by have, has, plus verb 3. For the people who forgot what verb 3 is, let me remind you that the verb 3 of a verb is actually the past participle. The past participle of the verb. Now, also, if you forgot what past participle is, let me give you this example. If you remember, for example, if I told you what's the infinitive of eat, eat is an infinitive verb. What's the verb to? Or what's the past simple of eat? You told me ate, if you remember. Now, what's the past participle? What's the verb 3 of ate or eat? We said it's eaten. So we are talking about this area of verbs. This is called verb 3. This is called past participle. Now, if all of that is nice and so on, also we have taken the present perfect as past tense. It's a past tense or time. I know there is a word called present, I know that, but it's a type of past tenses. Okay, we talked about all that in the first semester. Present perfect is a type of past. But why we call it a present? Because this past tense, okay, this past tense finished in the past. So it's over now. It's finished in the past, but has results in the present. There are results for this past action in the present. If you remember, let's take an example to remember everything. Yeah. If you remember the example we have given and other examples, for example, when I say I have, let's say, broken my leg. Have broken. Have plus verb 3. Have broken. Now, I want you to look carefully at this example here. I have broken my leg. This is something happened in the past. It's finished, but has results in the present, because when you break your leg, okay, so people will see that you are not walking well. There is something wrong with your leg, so it's visible. People can see that there is something wrong with your leg because of a past action you did. Is that clear? Now I think that we have revised enough about the present perfect. Now let's go through something called passive, present, perfect. Present, perfect. Now we have added passive, present, perfect. Okay, now how can we form this? We know about that. We know how to form it. It's actually like this. Look, it's exactly like this. But how do we form this one here? We form it by doing exactly this. Has, have. We have the verb 3. We still have the verb 3. We still have it. Here is it. We still have has and have here. So what's new? What's the new thing? The new thing that we have in this rule? The new thing you will add to those is been. Now, usually in passive time, in passive rule, okay, now we will see what's the meaning of passive, of course, but let's go through the form first. Now, in passive forms, we should include one form of be family. You know the verb to be? The be family. There is, are, am, be, been, being. Today, we will choose been because we have verb 3 here. So verb 3 likes people like him. Verb 3 likes the verb been because it's also verb 3. So yeah, I like people like me here. Okay. Now, this is the rule that you need to study and memorize for your exam, for the homework I will give you today. But I want you also to know, before memorizing all this, in order to memorize, to learn it by heart, and in order to keep it in your mind without forgetting it, you need to know what does passive present perfect meaning. What does it mean to use passive present perfect? Look at this example. We have, for example, I have given you a question on Google Classroom, so please, I want you to answer the question after you see this. Now, what is the question? What was my question? The question was, the stranger split the loaf into two. Now, check the other sentence I will give you. Did I forget the word has? I'm sorry. Has split the loaf into two. Okay. Now, the other sentence is, the loaf has been split into two. Okay, into two parts, of course. Right, what did we do here? Who split the loaf? Who split it? The stranger. Who did it? This is actually the subject of the sentence. This is the one who did this action. Now let's compare this with the other example here. Look what we have. The loaf has been split. Oh, this is something we have taken. Has been and verb 3. This is something we have taken. Yay. You know that. We have been learning this. Okay. The loaf has been split into two. Where is the subject? Who did this? Do we know? No. So here, the subject is unknown. As you can see, we don't know who did it. We did not mention it. We did not write it down. But we know that we started with a noun also, like this one. The stranger is also a noun. Why can't we say that this is a subject as well as the other one? No. A loaf can't split things. A loaf can't do any verbs. So it must be a noun or something that receives the verb. So here, instead of doing the verb, the loaf is receiving the verb. This is what we mean by, and I think you know the answer, it's an object. The loaf, which was here as an object, has become at the very beginning of the sentence to receive the verb, to receive the action, and just to ignore the subject, okay, for some reasons, because the subject is already known or because the subject is not important. We have a lot of reasons for now. But for now, I need you to know, when I move the object into the front area of the sentence, it means that we're talking about an object, not a subject. So when a sentence doesn't have a subject and it has an object at the beginning, it means that this sentence right here is called passive sentence. A passive sentence doesn't have a subject, or a passive sentence doesn't care about the subject, and it made it passive. Passive means not active. It's not active at all. So yeah, this is the explanation of the rule that you have. This is the explanation of the rule that you will be doing the homeworks on page 88 in the language book. Now, I will show you where that page is. It's actually here. Let's check it out here. This is your page 88. Okay? Now, I need you to do, please do exercise number 2. Please do it for me. And when you finish, picture your answer and send it back to me on my Google or in our Google Classroom. After you finish this, after you finish your language book, go to page 81. This is page 81 in your practice book. You know, it's the workbook, practice book. And try to do the page. Try to do the page and send the picture to me when you're done. Of course, I will send you pictures on how to do the first sentence, how to do the first sentence of the second exercise, just to help you move on with it. Now, let me see how brilliant you are and send me the answers, please. Of course, I want to remind you that you can ask any question you want, okay? You can send any question you want on Google Classroom, and I will be ready for you to answer everything you need. Thank you for listening.